On this episode of Death by Bunjie, Bunjie and I try to fill our buck tag here in the Pennsylvania Crossbow season. Again. So far, the Pennsylvania Crossbow season, the 37 days of awesome, is becoming the 37 days of It's been pretty good. I really can't complain. I have 2 does in the freezer. We're all set up on that. Check out the other videos if you haven't seen those hunts. If you've been following Death by Bunjie, you know that our second doe was quite a bit of a struggle. It was a difficult hunt for me. It was a good hunt, though, and I made a good video, I think, in the end, and I learned a lot from that. I just wanted to follow up first and tell you what happened in that hunt. I believe the problem that I had with the crossbow misfiring was because I had used too much rail lube on the crossbow. I had lubed up the rail pretty heavy on the way into the blind that day because I've been hunting through the crossbow season, quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of bad weather, and you want to protect the rail, you want to protect your string. So I had waxed my string, put the rail lube on as well, and with all that rail lube buildup, I think when I pulled the trigger, I think the arrow knock rode above the serving, dumping it off the end of the crossbow. That's probably what was going on here. I can tell you this, that I have since dried the entire rail very, very well. It's still got a nice sheen to it, but I put the rail lube on and then wipe it off. I'm going to do that from now on instead of just leaving a coat of rail lube that's visible right there on the rail. I also re-waxed the string to make sure it's further protected from the weather, and it seems to be firing just fine despite those 2 misfires. So the good news is Bunjie's all set, Bunjie's healthy, Bunjie's ready to go in the woods, and we're ready to chase a buck in this Pennsylvania crossbow season.
And eat their flesh because it's dinner. Wild game is my favorite dish. We hunt and we gather. Steak and potatoes may be fine for some, but when I get a choice, I choose venison. It's so healthy and tasty too. It's nature's perfect food. I'm a carnivore. He's a carnivore. I'm a carnivore. He's a carnivore. I kill animals and wear their skin because it's fashion. It keeps me warm and attractive. Ignites our passion. Nylon and polyester might work for some, but leather and furs are flat out awesome. Fur-lined gloves keep my fingers warm. Now I'm ready for any storm. I'm a carnivore. He's a carnivore. I'm a carnivore. He's a carnivore.
We're down to crunch time, the last day of the Pennsylvania Crossbow season. It ends on a Saturday. I set up over the staging food plot. This is an area I thought would be really productive. It was a brand new effort on my part to put a food plot here. It's kind of in the woods, in an area where the more mature deer might frequent before they head out into the main food plots after dark. What I had done is cut a series of trees and planted a mix of what they call no sweat from Antler King. It's a brassica mix that was there. Unfortunately, I think the deer weren't hot on that yet because the clover was still tasty. They're still eating the clover throughout the crossbow season and hadn't switched over to the brassicas quite yet. Still enjoying that clover. This is it. This is the last day of the crossbow season. So if it's going to happen during this season, it has to happen today. I pull out all the stops. I set up the buck decoy right there looking over that staging food plot, and then right next to it, I set up a doe decoy, a bedded doe, to make it look like that buck is tending the doe. Now, I don't have a doe decoy, so what did I use? That foam target. I took that apart, took the antlers off of it, took the legs off of it, and just set it up there hoping to lure a big buck in there who might want to fight that decoy to get on that hot doe. I even went so far as to get a couple of tissues, tack them to the back end of that foam target, and sprayed them real heavy with the estrus scent, hoping to lure some big buck into that area. I sat there all morning over those decoys. I broke them down over lunch, went back, got a quick lunch, went back to the stand, and sat there all afternoon. I had waited and waited patiently for this to happen, and finally, with less than an hour to go in the Pennsylvania crossbow season, a big buck started making his way up that ridge. Bunjie and I, we're not going to take that shot. Unfortunately, this buck, what appears to be a nice mature 8-point, he is broadside, but he's at 70 yards. My crossbow scope only goes out to 50. I have tested it. I'm dead on at 40. 30 is the farthest I've ever shot. 70, in my opinion, where I hunt, is a reckless shot. I'm not going to take that. This deer was not interested in fighting the buck. He was not interested in that doe. He had on his mind where he was going, what he was going to do, and that was that. He had a plan. He was going to stick to that plan. So with that, the Pennsylvania crossbow season draws to a close. Bunjie and I do not fill our buck tag, but we still have that buck tag available for the second crossbow season coming up. That's the rifle season here in Pennsylvania. And also for the late crossbow season. That's right, the day after Christmas, we have a late season here in Pennsylvania that lasts a little over 2 weeks. And that'll give us a chance to go out there and try and shoot a buck at that time as well. So there's only one way to find out what happens. Make sure you subscribe to Death by Bunjie. Like us on the Facebook page if you haven't done so already, so you can keep up with all the exciting Death by Bunjie action there. I won't overload your Facebook feed. I just post pictures from trail cameras and other neat things that I find. And until next time, all hail Bunjie!